Mr. Popo! Mr. Popo! What are your thoughts on flow state in Legacy? It appears that Mr. Popo does not have any public comments at this time. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Real quick, for those of you going to MagicCon Vegas, please come see me Saturday in Creator Central, 10:30 a.m. to noon for a meet and greet. I'll be giving away some cool stuff there and giving some neat opportunities to the people who come and see me in person. I'm going to have a QR code and give you the first chance to kind of get a crack at changes that could come to the channel over the summer when I start becoming a full-time content creator formally. Now, a little while back, Alan gave me a couple of Dealer's Choice donation deck lists. Thank you, Alan. The support for the channel means a lot, especially right now. And I'm going to use one of those to explore what is, quite frankly, the new busted thing that has hit Legacy, flow state. I am recording this league on Thursday, April 23rd, and already in the first couple of 5.0 deck list dumps, we are seeing flow state everywhere, in combo decks, in control decks, in tempo decks. This is the best big thing. It is already clear. And in the first 24 to 48 hours of this set being legal on Magic Online, we've already had a ton of various Delver and Tempo decks 5-0ing with flow state. This is one of them. I think this one came from Kentaro Hiroki, plus or minus a little bit on pronunciation there. I don't quite remember the name. Hikari? Hikari sounds right. And this is flow state. Is it Delver? I have a lot of questions about how flow state changes deck building that will probably be answered on a time span of months. And one thing that I was very curious about is, what do you do with Mishra's Bauble once you have flow state in the deck? Do you still want to have that angle of turn 2 Corey Steelcutter, play Bauble, and go? Do you still want that Bauble synergy with DRC? Or do you need to manipulate your instant and sorcery count even more? And this deck is opting to keep the Mishra's Bauble, but supplement the sorcery count by playing a few copies of Boomerang Basics. And if you use this on your opponent's stuff in the early game, but you just have the end game of flow state, look at 3 cards, one of the cards that I take is a flow state, take a lightning bolt, interact with your thing, flow state a second time, maybe get another flow state, or a ponder that finds a flow state. To have that really, really strong endgame means that you can really get away with playing some slightly suboptimal cards like Daze and Boomerang Basics in the early game that maybe just have a temporary effect or potentially get phased out in power level over time. If you just get to refuel incredibly efficiently, making those 1-for-1 trades, or Boomerang Basics sometimes doesn't even fully get rid of the card, it might come back, making those trades is totally acceptable. And Corey Steelcutter with a flow state that runs into a flow state, or a cantrip that then finds another flow state, is a gross amount of power with the monks over time. I'm curious how much you get to do with Murktide Regent in this deck, as you do want to preserve an instant and a sorcery card basically at all times in your graveyard, due to how powerful flow state is if you're optimizing it properly. The sideboard here is perhaps not anything exciting. It is just a bunch of good stuff. There's nothing new here. We will see if over time we start to see some things that start making sense for the flow state mirror. Now, flow state is only an uncommon, but if you don't have them yet, consider getting that and anything else you need from this set from DOAmagic.com. These folks are great. I am really looking forward to seeing them in Vegas. They are doing some great customer service type stuff for me with a bit of a custom order, and that is very much appreciated. If you're ordering online, use promo code ThrabenU, and that'll save you a little bit on your order. I am really excited to try flow state. This card is busted, and I'm going to get my hands on it now. So let's battle. All right, opening hand has no lands. We're not going to keep that one. The second one is totally fine. I'm going to get rid of one of the instants. I think I will get rid of the lightning bolt. My opponent says, I can hear you narrating in my head already. Flow state deck spotted. Must destroy. We too are the bad guys today playing our flow states. My opponent says, fair. If only there was some evidence that Strixhaven could look at for a draw 3. Let me rephrase this. If only there was something that the designers at Wizards of the Coast could have looked at to see if a look at 3, draw 2 cards for 2 mana was problematic. Time will tell, but I have already said my piece that I think this card is severely fucked up. And we've got the Thundering Falls. Brainstorm naturally to bin there. I think I want to Brainstorm anyway, so I'm just going to do that while this is on the stack so that if my opponent dazes later, this is not taken. All right, there is my own daze. I will just bury the second Corey Steelcutter here, I think. And then this can resolve. And then we're chilling. I will go ahead and fetch. I'm going to shove the Corey Steelcutter. If it works, cool. If it doesn't work, that's not all that bad. I have 2 flow states here. Like, what am I realistically worried about? My opponent brainstorms. I think someone is like fucking drag racing outside my window. That car was not healthy. All right, there is a daze. Here is my daze on your daze. Does my Corey Steelcutter get to stick? It does not. Such is life. And if that is the case, I'm just going to cycle this bauble, see what's coming up for my opponent. It is a land and pass the turn here. So now I just want to find like a ponder to put my first sorcery in the graveyard for flow state. Ah, shit. It begins. So now I'm going to get hit for 3. Force of Will actually pretty bad right now. I think that I am willing to cast one of these as a suboptimal flow state to make the next one better. That is a daze. Well, my overall goal of putting a sorcery into the graveyard is still being met, and then I can flow state next turn and try to find something that takes DRC off of the board. Bulk comes back. Ooh, my opponent's build has Storm Chaser's talent. Rebuying flow state is obnoxious. I think I just have to let that resolve. I think I need to cast my own flow state here. I will take 3 going to 13. Corey Steelcutter's almost cool. I will now cast my own flow state. Mine is now live. I just get 2 DRCs. Boomerang Basics is mid. Maybe Boomerang Basics as a kill spell for the Otter is good enough. Yeah. I think I kill the Otter first. Like, if this gets dazed, it's not actually all that big of a deal. And then next turn, I can play Corey Steelcutter and DRC, triggering Corey Steelcutter. All right, there is my opponent's Corey Steelcutter. Hate that. Bobble triggers that, making a monk. Boomerang Basics is definitely better in my opponent's deck than it is in my deck. It's way easier for them to cycle it for the card. So much for killing that Otter. Opponent redraws. Brainstorm is okay. I think I'm playing this land drop so Daze is not live. So here's Corey Steelcutter. Here's DRC. Trigger Corey Steelcutter. And I think I am on the defensive, unfortunately. My opponent has lines where they just move Corey Steelcutter over to DRC and then can attack into my DRC successfully. So I don't love that. I also don't love that any land drop just turns into a flow state. Hate that. I think that's scary enough that I Force of Will. Trigger my various creatures. I will take Ponder. If I were the opponent, I would now move Corey Steelcutter. Nope, don't need to. Super bad for me, as I am nearly dead and my opponent has 3 different bodies while threatening to just return Lightning Bolt or Flow State. So, I don't know what I'm doing about that. Boomerang Basics is not it. We will shuffle that. I will apparently Ponder again and make a new monk. My flow state is theoretically good, or would have been good at the beginning of the turn. I don't know that it's good now. So I would need to flow state into untapped non-fetch land and Lightning Bolt. Don't think that's happening if 2 of these cards are on top of my library. Let's shuffle. Daze is not going to do it. I am dead in the air. GG. Pivotal moment right there on the first flow state casting. My opponent's flow state was turned on, and my first flow state was not. Big deal breaker there. I am, I think, more interested in these blasts than I am these Force of Wills. Is Boomerang Basics even good? Kills tokens? I don't know, it gets Murktide Regent out of the way. Percy has come to join us. Mr. Percy, what are your thoughts on flow state? It also seems like he is not willing to make a public comment. Unfortunate. Keep 1 Boomerang Basics for Murktide? Question mark? Like, if I'm bringing in 3 Pyroblasts, do I need Boomerang Basics for Murktide? Maybe I don't. Keep a Miser's Force of Will. Please don't ever take my blue cantrip deck sideboarding as gospel. Okay, opening hand. I have a lot of cantrips, and I would like to naturally hit a land. If I don't, I will brainstorm for it. I do need to get Volcanic Island with this first one, though, 100%. So we fetch, get Volk, throw down the threat immediately, and DRC filling the graveyard last game was, like, very, very, very relevant. That's exactly what I did not want to happen. Yep. In for 1. 19. And I don't have a free counterspell here. Everything's fine as soon as I hit the first land drop, but, like, if I don't hit that first land drop quickly, I will outright just lose. Opposing DRC has appeared. Well, you know, that happened. I will 100% offer up the trade. Opponent does not accept. They have more mana, unfortunately. Now that they have their red card in play, they can safely get Basic Island. Storm Chaser's talent has arrived. In for 1. Down to 18. No land. I guess I'll hold back. I'm clearly not the aggressor anymore. And my opponent has Brainstorm. Opponent says no to Lightning Bolt. Perhaps they do not have red mana. Ooh, they do. But they might have found it with Brainstorm, we don't know. So there's Ponder. So there's instant and sorcery in the graveyard now for flow state purposes. I think if I miss my next land drop, I'm just going to concede and move to the next one. I think my opponent's clearly got it if I don't hit this land drop here. In for 6, holding back my creature doesn't do anything. And I do just miss the next land drop. So that was a non-game generated by Wasteland. That's going to happen. GG. A flow state deck still wins this round. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. So this is going to go one of 2 ways. Brian is playing Flow State, or Brian is playing something with Witherbloom Charm. Come on, Nick Fit. Bulk, DRC, Pass, Flooded Strand, Flow State Control, End Step Fetchland, Basic Plains, Swords to Plowshares. No thank you. I would like my DRC. Land goes to graveyard. 2 card types in graveyard. Boomerang Basics probably mid here. I'm going to go ahead and fetch, get another Volk, play DRC, and then go ahead and ponder double surveilling. Let's just get deeper here. Yeah, buddy. This is fine. I think flow state is so good that I just take it. Bam, bam, bam. No combat. In for 1. 3 card types in graveyard. Flow state coming. Brian fetches. Green. Oh, we are doing beans. Sure. Instant and sorcery in graveyard. Let's go. Wasteland can go to bin. Wasteland can go to bin. Here is flow state. Nice. I will put Bobble and Force of Will into my hand. I will play Bobble. Tarn can go away. Lightning Bolt can go away. Go ahead and see what you're drawing. It is a Leyline Binding. These are now sending in for 6 points of damage, and I have Force of Will available for the Leyline Binding that is coming up. This is kind of fucked up. Force of Will. Pitch Boomerang Basics. Look deeper for Flow State. That card's not Flow State. That card also not Flow State. Ryan can now draw a card, but takes 6 more points of damage. That's a Murktide. In for 6. Brian to 5. I'll keep playing. So I would like to leave 1 instant and 1 sorcery. We'll throw down Murktide as well. And now we should have this through single target, like even double single target removal, like the Lightning Bolt just finishes here. And Murktide is lethal if there's like main deck Wrath of the Skies or something. Leyline Binding. Yeah, that can take out Murktide. That's fine. It's got to be Solitude now. It is not Solitude. Easy game of Magic. GG. It seems kind of like Flow State is my up the beanstalk here, but mine is probably easier to establish. Don't know that I'm excited about Boomerang Basics. Maybe I play some number of blasts here. If I take out the Boomerang Basics, I am decreasing my sorcery count. Hopefully I just Surveil and it's fine. I wonder if like one of these Lightning Bolts should be a Chain Lightning or something. I'll play like 2 Pyroblasts. I could play Force of Negations here. I don't know that I want to go Price of Progress, but like that's definitely another route I could be going. I'm gonna keep this. I think there is a lot of draws that just make this better. Wow, Brian going to 5 very, very quickly. Like if I hit a Corey Steelcutter or DRC, this hand just becomes nuts all of a sudden. It's just a land and pass. That is a Flow State. The game seems to be about these now. I think I'm going to see what's going on with my own library here. I have a DRC coming. I would like to draw that card. So I'm just going to go ahead and play a fetch land and pass the turn. And then I get one of the specific draws that I was looking for and the ability to surveil a couple of times with it, which hopefully turns on a Flow State. I do have the Thundering Falls in my hand immediately, though, which is not the best. So, yeah. I think I will just do both of these now. Yeah. Here is a DRC. Here is a Bobble. Trigger this. Ponder can go to Yard. And then I just need to cast an instant at some point in the next turn cycle as well. What do you got going on, Brian? Basic Plains. Sure. You've got the fetch, so we can delete this. It is effectively not there. And there is a Felia, which I think I will just daze. Say no to that. Land can go to Yard. Great. I will take my Bobble redraw. Ponder is whatever. I have a 3/3 DRC now, which is nice. I think for mana efficiency, I am just going to cast Brainstorm here. I don't really care if I lose the DRC in process. This is not good immediately. Force of Will is great. Wasteland is fine. I'm going to bury Thundering Falls. So I will go ahead and Force of Will. Probably pitching Ponder. I will keep that Wasteland there. So I will go ahead and attempt to send in for 3 points of damage. Brian has 2 cards. I will attempt to Wasteland Tundra and pass. I have Daze available. If I don't Daze, I have Flow State. Like, life's pretty good. Beans are here. That's fine. Like, the amount of value that Flow State represents is just absurd here. In for 3. 13. Cast Flow State. Surveil first. I'll, at this point, keep Murktide Regent in case something happens to DRC. In case something happens to DRC. What was I thinking? I will take Force of Will blue card and pass turn. This is so fucked. All right, land drop. We've got some action, so this will presumably be a white source. That is an Endurance. Nah, I got another Flow State. Absolutely not. You don't get that. I will top the Force of Will. Thundering Falls. I don't need Wasteland at this point. In for 3. Brian to 9. Either way that I play this is incredible. I think I will just cast the Flow State. It's possible Murktide is better. Land can go away. Yep. I'll do Quarry Steelcutter and Pyroblast to my hand, and now I don't care about pitching Murktide Regent to Force of Will if Brian finds a 1-for-1 removal spell that will cantrip off Beans. That is another land, probably not what Brian is looking for. That is a Quantum Riddler. I'll just force it. Pitch Murktide. I don't need a Daze at this stage of the game. This is pretty messed up. Another Quantum Riddler. All right. Apparently should have kept the Daze. Or no, Daze would not have worked. JK. I can Pyroblast that in a minute. Oh, did this rip into a single mana removal spell? We're playing mana. Or rather, we're playing magic if that happens. Ooh. All right. Good set of rips. Ooh. So that was 2 Quantum Riddlers and a Leyline Binding. Seems great. And Riddler goes away. To be cast next turn. Here is Quarry Steelcutter. I think I just cast this and take my value and intend on just Pyroblasting the Quantum Riddler once it is eventually in play. In for 2. Brian to 5. Carpet of Flowers triggers. Worth a decent amount of mana, so mana is probably not a bottleneck at this stage of the game. Rainstorm. It's so messed up that a Delver deck can keep up with double Riddler Beans. Like, that feels like the points where the Beans deck should be crushing. And I do want to temper some of this with the fact that Brian did double mulligan here. There is a Leyline Binding, drawing yet another card. Imagine I lose Quarry Steelcutter here. But some of this depends on how much Brian can take out of play, right? Like, you might not be able to remove the Quarry Steelcutter. Alright, there is the Riddler. Brian up to 5 cards in hand. It is my hope that I can successfully resolve a Pyroblast and take that out of play, and then crash in. Or lethal or close to it. Alright. Here is a DRC. Here is the attempt to kill Quantum Riddler. Yeah, it is successful. So, I don't know exactly, but it was something like Leyline Binding, Riddler. So this Up the Beanstalk drew, counting its first draw, I think 5 different cards, and that was not enough to beat Delver. All right. Here we are. This is the legacy world we live in. GG's. Tempo players. It is your time. You just whole ass let blue players get away with this shit all the time. Wild. All right. DRC with Daze and Force of Will backup. Instant and sorcery available for Flow State. Hello and good luck. Flow State Mirror? Is it Delver Mirror? No. He's Tundra. That is a prismatic ending. I will just say no. I'll Daze that, and then I can potentially Thunder on my turn. I'll just play another one. Hell yeah. Bulk. DRC's cousin. Also DRC. In for 1, have Force of Will backup. 18. I will absolutely let you ponder. I don't need to be that aggressive with Force of Will here. I don't even know if I Force of Will on a removal spell that gets pointed at these until these are a little closer to being 3/3s. Alright, we are looking like Jeskai control here. I'm not really looking for Thundering Falls right now. Brainstorm can go away. Ponder can go away. Daze? Take Daze, be able to pitch Daze to Force of Will to protect DRCs. Alright, I think I'm going to go bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. Thundering Falls. Surveil a creature into the graveyard. And then next turn, when I fetch, I will have 2 3/3 DRCs, and I can also potentially Murktide Regent next turn as well. Yeah, that's fine. Next land drop. You want 3 mana for Quarry Steelcutter. That's a pretty good Magic the Gathering card. Alright, I'll bite. This also just gives me a couple of looks at flow states, so I think I'm in. Lightning Bolt, I think I will send away. Cards are not named flow state. Maybe that's greedy. Maybe a Bolt is fine with 6 power in the air and like a Murktide coming as well. Yeah, this is totally fine and expected. Boomerang Basics is not great. In for 3. Down to 12. I'll take the Flooded Strand out of the graveyard. I can put another one of these right back. I don't think this being a 1/1 in the short term matters all that much. Alright, my opponent gets their flow state, and they do have instant and sorcery. It begins. That is a brainstorm. There can still be a shuffle after this, and there is. Opponent's hand is presumably gas now. Yep. I really wish this Boomerang Basics was not Boomerang Basics. I don't think I like this slot. Do I have one Thundering Falls? I need to check that real quick. Yes, I have one Thundering Falls, so I will not use this fetch land immediately. Alright. I will Wasteland you off of red, turning this into a 3/3. I need to find my own flow state before I get buried by my opponent's cards. So unfortunately, my opponent does have access to red again. I might have poo-pooed the Boomerang Basics, and then immediately my opponent has Murktide Regent, and the Boomerang Basics is going to be good. Forgive me, Boomerang Basics, I have sinned. Murktide resolves. Ew, gross. That's not what I need. Please get out of the way, Murktide Regent. I do not need that land. I will be attacking for 3, and I think I'm going to hold Scalding Tarn in case I hit Brainstorm. Opponent is at 5. However, this Tamiyo plus flow state mid-game that they are going to have is going to be very, very, very strong. Alright, I'm running on fumes officially. I am at 32 life, and Tamiyo is attacking me for 0. That is the good news of this situation. The bad news is everything else that's going on here. I will pass the turn. Tamiyo gets to come in and make another clue. So my opponent effectively has a 7-card hand to my 0-card hand unless I hit Brainstorm. 5th land drop over there. Wastelanding them was not hyper relevant. No. There's Murktide Regent. I suspect that was done suboptimally. That did not leave an instant in the yard for flow state purposes. I'll shut up if there's like Snapcaster Mage over there too, but I don't think there is. Flow state is brand new. People have to get used to the play patterns. This card's pretty bad right now. I will play it and hope that it does something, but prognosis is pretty grim here. My opponent can just hold back Murktide Regent for a turn. God damn it. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure if that's better than just picking up flow state. Like, you have 2 clue tokens there. Can you just find any instant in a couple of cards to turn on flow state and get that extra value? My DRC is not even good right now. But maybe my opponent just can't play towards the failure case of me attacking and them being in Lightning Bolt range. Maybe that is just so disastrous that they want to avoid it. Lightning Bolt or Corey Steelcutter might be how I steal this. So I will use this to look at my own top cards of library to see if I like them. I do. I will go ahead and pass here. My opponent gets to funnel mana into clues. Flow state by itself is pretty fucked up. Flow state and Tamiyo at the same time is some serious shit, though. I'm going to go ahead and just Brainstorm in their upkeep. Lightning Bolt is good. The rest of this stuff is not. I think I'm going to go 1 and 2. And I think I'm intending Lightning Bolt to go at face rather than Tamiyo. I think I want to work towards a timeline where double bolt is a real thing. 18. Blue. Tamiyo plus, Tamiyo minus, pick up flow state. Alright. Begrudgingly. Alright, I answered their Tamiyo. Oh no. Oh no. I wonder if I want a second Thundering Falls in this deck. Because surveilling a card type into graveyard for flow state is so relevant. Having multiple different ways to pick up the flow state is certainly a statement of, like, day 2, how much people value flow state in this format. Alright, we will bobble myself again. I do not want that land, so I will fetch immediately, pick up Volk, and Legacy changed so much overnight. There's a bobble on the stack, but my opponent still has priority for some reason. Yeah. Oh. So they are going to daze their own card, pay for it just to bounce Mystic Sanctuary to put flow state on top of the deck again. Thanks, I hate it. Oh, folks, this is so fucking toxic. Throwing Murktide while that is happening is just icing on the cake. Alright, I will take 8. Opponent leaves Bobble in play. I am not drawing the right stuff here. I'm going to tap out at this point. I am dead to that Murktide Regent. Absolutely disgusting. GG. So, Air Blasts and Blue Blasts potentially seem like things that I am interested in. I think I'm playing all of the Pyroblasts without thinking about it very much. I think I am in for that. I also bet I'm in for Price of Progress. That just seems like a pretty strong middle finger to my opponent's multicolored mana base. And that might be a way to get some reach if I get things close. I don't know about Boomerang basics. Down on dazes, but don't remove them? Question mark. I'm a little leery of my sorcery count boarding Boomerang basics out. That's something I'm realizing very quickly playing this exact list. I'm going to go down some dazes. I feel like my deck is skewed a touch too much towards instant. Yeah, I am good keeping this. This is the same sort of thing as I kept in a previous game, where if I hypothetically get wastelanded off a volcanic island, it is incredibly bad. Let's throw down a DRC and pass the turn. Flooded Strand and Tamiyo. I've got Pyroblast for that, although I might get greedy and try to find a land as well. Never mind, don't have to get greedy. I think I will just drop a land. Pyroblast Tamiyo immediately. Brainstorm can go to the bin. Fuel Murktide for later. Ponder can go here. Land can hit Graveyard. None of those cards are named Flow State. That card is also not named Flow State, but is perfectly fine. That card is named Flow State. Sack this. It is 3/3 time. I know that my opponent has a land coming, and I have like a very, very reasonable hand here. Redraw. There's Flow State. Opponent goes to 15. Swords is fine. I don't care about these 1-for-1 trades if I start resolving Flow State, but my opponent's endgame is probably better than my endgame, so that's a thing. Ori Steelcutter. I really like the idea of that next turn. Let's Flow State now. I will take Land Drop, Pyroblast here, and I think I will just hold up Pyroblast for this turn. Wasteland is a thing, but we're past the early point of the game where that is problematic. I think I will just blast that on the stack to not have to deal with Brainstorm potentially messing with what I want to do here. Opponent opts not to wasteland me, which is great because I have a lot of things to do. Ori Steelcutter is always the first thing that I'm going to do here. And I think I will just play my secondary threat here and trigger Ori Steelcutter. This is such incredibly high-powered magic. 13. Ooh, no use of the Tundra mana at all. There is Brainstorm. Volcanic Island comes down. All 3 colors on the table. Prismatic Ending on the Ori Steelcutter. That's fine. That is still leaving me with 2 threats in play. Opponent does opt to wasteland me. That's fine. Ball, Flow State. I think I'm good with that. And potentially find a wasteland, which would be cool. Force of Will is fine. I'll take Force of Will Island? I'll take Force of Will Island. Yet another prowess trigger this turn. If I must cast Flow State again. Oh my god. Am I okay waiting? Feels like Ori Steelcutter plus Bobble next turn is just a really good turn. I think I'm okay with waiting. Bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. In for 6. Opponent to 7. I can still do my Ori Steelcutter turn. I probably just say no to my opponent's Ori Steelcutter. Pitch Brainstorm? I'll pitch Brainstorm. I'm fine keeping the Bobble on top here. I don't think I care if my opponent 1-for-1s here. That's pretty good. So I'm going to lose my DRC this turn. Unless I make it not have to attack. Am I fine with it attacking? Cast Ori Steelcutter, trigger. Cast Bobble, trigger. Yeah, I can just wait 1 turn here. I take the artifact out of graveyard to make this not have to attack immediately, and then I can put that back in next turn. And that leaves an instant and sorcery in the graveyard for flow state. Then I have the bigger Murktide right now. And then next turn I just shove. Opponent has one card. I don't care if I get wastelanded. Double wasteland is something different. Mystic Sanctuary grows this to a 7/7. That means it can trade with my Murktide. What's the last card? I will float a mana. Alright. So, here is Corey Steelcutter. Triggers. Yeah. That's fine. That can stay on top. Here's Mishra's Bauble. Alright, hold on. Mr. Percy wants in. Wrong. Mr. Percy wanted into another room. My opponent has conceded while I checked on my cat. GG. Do I want Hydroblast for Corey Steelcutter? They seem fine. Maybe one? Deck's a little red skewed right now with the Price of Progresses in over Dazes. I'm gonna call this good. That has no land. Opponent instantly mulliganed as well. This is great. I don't know, based on hard experience, whether I throw back DRC or Corey Steelcutter here. Corey Steelcutter is such a pain in the butt as games go long, but the double DRC with Force of Will backup is way more aggressive in the beginning. I could also just get rid of Force of Will. Actually, yeah, fuck it. Let's get rid of Force of Will. I have 3 threats. I'll also be up a card for being on the draw. This is fine. Force of Will came back. Thank you for your service, Force of Will. And I just have to decide how I use it. Like, I don't know exactly what is going to be the most important thing. I suspect it's not this. I think I let that go. Brainstorm is fine on their own turn. And the next land drop. Notably not a fetch land. I think Corey Steelcutter is my likely turn 3 play. So I think I'll drop DRC here. And I think I likely just intend to surveil here. Lavinia. That doesn't do too much. I think I'm just going to say that's okay. But no land drop from my opponent here. Means their hand is full of gas. I will make this bigger. 2 Thundering Falls. Cantrips are fine here. So here is Corey Steelcutter. I will surveil. Lightning Bolt turns Force of Will back on. I think I'd rather just churn through spells. Get a sorcery into the graveyard. Send Brainstorm in. I've already got an instant there. This is fine. Pyroblast is great. Maybe bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. I'm fine doing punchies with the monk. And next turn I can rattle through some cantrips and hopefully do crimes with Corey Steelcutter. Force of Will not doing stuff right now, but I boarded my Dazes out, so this is not actually all that bad. That occurs. I still have the monk here, and my opponent is bottlenecked on mana. Alright. That guarantees that I can attack with this, which was already somewhat likely, so this is fine. Let us play some cards. Begin with Ponder. Surveil. Send the Brainstorm away to just get deeper here. Murktide? Bauble? Yeah, I'm into this stuff. Bam. 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 No shuffle. Ah, fuck. Forgot about Lavinia. That is probably not a particularly costly mistake, though. It matters. Does it matter enough that I Pyroblast now? 1 more point of damage? Sure. Nuke Lavinia. Keep that Murktide there. I will send in for 7 with a counterspell backup and another threat coming. I could have 1 more card here, though, after the Bauble redraw. Force? I'll just force. Like, I want my opponent dead before they can deploy cards. Feel pretty confident about that. And if I get a Pyroblast out on this spell, then Murktide is living, which is cool. Leave an instant and sorcery in the graveyard. Do this as a 7/7. Send in for 1. This does mean that this is 8 damage as opposed to 9 damage next turn. But I'm expecting my opponent to do something relevant, right? They have so many cards in hand. It is their own Murktide Regent, and I am punished for not getting the extra card out of graveyard. Let's see what I can do about that. Let's always yield to this monk. Oh, Pyroblast is great. So 4 cards in graveyard, 5 cards in graveyard, 6, 7. So I can put the Murktide Regent as the next card. Take out Murktide Regent. So if there's no Force of Will here, my opponent is dead. Opponent says, GG's. I enjoy your content. Thank you. Lavinia is interesting tech here. So I initially was thinking Lavinia for this free stuff, but it also hits Bobble as well. I wasn't thinking about Bobble, obviously. So what is our record now? All right, so we are 2-1. And if memory serves, we lost to another Flow State deck in round 1. Flow State undefeated. GG's. All right, my opponent says hello to YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan this hand. It has no lands. This second one could use something else, but hopefully DRC digs me to a flow state and everything is fine. I will throw back a land. Like my opponent is mulliganing as well, and they are a Yorion deck of some kind. We'll see if they are a value pile or a D&T deck pretty quickly. Oh, that tea is too hot. All right, DRC. Do your thing, bud. Bobble. And we're going to hyper aggressively send things to graveyard here. I'll just bobble my opponent. Elia. Okay. Ponder? I will keep a ponder. I think I just proceed to my next turn, and I will like look at a new card from my opponent's deck with this bobble after they shuffle. I'm not Force of Willing in this position if my opponent just tries to remove DRC. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's really not fine, but I don't have a lot to say about it right now. What are you drawing next? Bowmasters. Ooh, hate that. Oh, deck. Oh, shit. What did I do to deserve that? Nope. Help me brainstorm. Days for Bowmasters is the plan. That doesn't feel good. I will attack with my 3/3, and I can use Thundering Whoozy Whatsits to surveil as well. Marsh Flats comes down. Am I just trying to resolve this Corey Steelcutter? I think I am trying to hit a cantrip, cast a cantrip, and daze this Bowmaster before it comes in uncounterably. Yes. I'll attack for 3 now, though. Get that in case something weird happens. Opponent to 13. Cast Ponder, trigger this. All according to plan. Alright, there's Bowmaster. I will daze, returning Thundering Whoozy Whatsit. Flow State. Yeah, that's fine. So, second Surveil also looks at Flow State. Boomerang Basics? Just bounce the Vial out of play, buy some time. Bam, bam, bam. No. Boomerang Basics. The Vial out of play. Junk Ponder. Then I know that I want the card that is on top of my library. So I think I will just play Volk. Call it good there. Arrakis comes down, which is wastelandable. Yes, that is occurring. So I now cast Flow State. And I'd like 2 bangers here. Nope, we got land though. We got land for days, folks. I want to wasteland. I also sort of feel like if I don't keep attacking, I just end up losing. I'm gonna play DRC here. Okay, Stoneforge is happening. Getting pre-war formalware. Vial comes down. Pre-war formalware represents Bowmasters again. Oh, okay. Life is quite bad. I'm gonna go with Wasteland. I think I can't let my opponent get a flyer into play. The current things do not block flyers. Pre-war formalware getting Bowmasters does not answer DRC. I will take 2 here, and it looks like my opponent is effectively holding open Bowmasters. Nice. Okay, there's a very real plan here. And that plan is punch my opponent in the mouth 1 more time and then finish the game with Lightning Bolt. Yes. Doesn't give sneaky reach, right? Fuck! Alright. Was not ready for that one. Ooh, okay. New plan. Deal 3 points of damage somehow? Have I used a bolt? I have not used a bolt, so there's 2 more in the deck. I think I say no to that. Flow state is a thing that exists. Ugh, this inevitability is feeling rough. Like, that connection would have left my opponent dead to double bolt. That meteor sword was such a big deal. And removing the creatures right now is not optimal. Opponent is just playing super, super conservatively here, which they can probably do with Thalia coming. I think I am making a land drop and passing the turn here. And then potentially I brainstorm in response to a Stoneforge Mystic activation. Alright, there's Thalia. Please activate Stoneforge. I'm begging you. Oh, thank God. No! Fuck. Yeah. If I kill Thalia, Thalia just comes back via pre-war formalware. Really needed my opponent to activate that to get the brainstorm. Now I'm going to start losing lands to Meteor Sword, or worse. Okay, it is Meteor Sword. Sure. I will go to 14. And then Meteor Sword will come back and nuke one of my lands, which I don't view as that big of a deal. I think you take out the Thundering Falls. It's different than the others. Okay. How do I navigate this through Thalia? Let's try to figure that out. I will leave a sorcery and an instant in graveyard and cast Murktide. Last turn. I think I'm forcing? I bolt Thalia in combat, try to attack for 8, and then find another lightning bolt or something that takes one of these out of the graveyard. I could get greedy and try to brainstorm as well. I don't think I am going to do that. Oh, come on. No! Alright. Boy, that's rough. Yes. So now what am I doing with this lightning bolt? I think I'm still holding. But, like, how am I winning through this, like, Bowmaster, Thalia, Stoneforge, pre-war formalware, Meteor Sword situation that, like, Yorion is also looming in? I think my opponent's got this one. Yes. So, like, I can Kori Steelcutter, Lightning Bolt this, attack with a 2-2, but, like, pre-war formalware is good. I think my opponent's got this one. I think they stabilized. GG. Alright, what am I doing in terms of sideboarding here? Probably not much. Maybe nothing. Like, I can attempt to consign some triggers. That definitely does stuff. I think I am running back the game 1 deck. Price of Progress has text. Consign has text. I think I'm going to run back the game 1 deck. This is an okay opening hand that I think I will just keep. We can probably Murktide Regent relatively quickly. I could play out this hand with Bobble, seeing if I like the card on top of my deck, and then Polluted Delta. The card on top of my deck has to be pretty good for me to want to keep it. That isn't. We'll go ahead and fetch here. Since I'm going to be wastelandable anyway, I will just go ahead and do Volk, and we'll start growing things for Murktide Regent. Kori Steelcutter is a fine pickup. I'm good with this. That is not how I wanted to do that, but it's what I did. All right. Now get bailed out by Bobble. Ah, well, that also just changes the equation, so that's fine. Everything worked out. Bulk and pass turn. Arid Mesa. I think I'm just going to brainstorm here for raw mana efficiency before Bowmasters comes down. Flow state is cool. I don't think it matters too much what I put back. I'm getting everything back. So here's land drop. And I think I will just Murktide despite the fact that this messes up my graveyard for flow state purposes. I potentially have 2 counter spells here to protect this card. Very much not guaranteed, but potentially. Looks like my opponent is going for both basic lands. And I will just daze that card. I'll drop a land and just send in for 5. I'm going to, I think, play out Kori Steelcutter. I could save this for a turn and just do nothing with my mana this turn. I'm trying not to Force of Will whatever comes next to, like, assemble Flow State plus Lightning Bolt, trigger Kori Steelcutter. But Stoneforge Mystic getting Meteor Sword is kind of rough. This would be a 4-4, so it's not Lightning Boltable. Alright. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Hopefully I hit a cantrip to do Kori Steelcutter crimes. Did not. So we will use lesser used mode of Kori Steelcutter, which is Operation the Dragon Cut Steel. In for 6, opponent is to 7. One more Murktide Regent connection kills my opponent. And if they remove Murktide, I have to switch into Make Monks mode. And I don't need to do that much damage with said monks. Okay, very nice. Very different game from the last time around. GG. Again, no changes here. Okay, opening hand is fine. It is not better than fine. I think I will keep it. At a mulligan from my opponent, it is. I'd like to find a DRC or a Corey Steelcutter. Corey Steelcutter plus Bobble is good. DRC plus Bobble is good. I have a Lightning Bolt for something like an early Stoneforge. If my opponent plays turn 1 Vial, that just happens. That occurs. Play versus draw difference, unfortunately for us. I think this needs to be Volk. I will ponder. Double Murktide Regent. Try to do better than that. Lightning Bolt. I will take a Bobble redraw then. I didn't hit Corey Steelcutter. Opponent has Erode, I think for the first time on the channel. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. We get this redraw in before Bowmasters is live. There's another land for if I am wastelanded, which did not happen. So I have a pile of lightning bolts, but nothing to pair it with. Oh my god, no. Yikes. This is a disaster. So I have 3 bolts, nothing to remove, no creature to pressure my opponent and make these good. Force of Will unlikely to be live. Thundering Falls in my hand. So the Misty Rainforest that I played out ahead of time so that I could bolt a Bowmaster if it came down, like bites me in the butt there. Yuck. Okay, Murktide Regent. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in graveyard. Let's see if we can buff that up a little bit. Yeah, we can buff that up like that. So then I will fetch, grab Volk, ponder, yeah. I could leave a sorcery in there for flow state. I think this game is about hitting with Murktide Regent twice. So I think I hope that I can Force of Will something. Oh, fuck, this can get Meteor, Sword, and kill Murktide Regent. That I Force of Will. Anyway, this can get Meteor, Sword, and mess with my Murktide Regent uncounterably. I hope that my opponent goes for Pre-War Formal Wear to get Felia back. That's better for me. I can potentially get my way out of that situation. But they have gotten Meteor Sword. This is rough. This is not lined up well. Marsh Flats comes down. Oh, fuck, there was the Erode as well. Yeah, I'll use this ability. Forgot about the Erode. I was planning on Force of Willing the Erode. So now what am I doing? I guess Lightning Bolting Stoneforge. Good god. Yeah, I don't think this one is panning out. So there's not... Well, I guess I could Wasteland the Marsh Flats and then Lightning Bolt the Stoneforge. The opponent is just not using Meteor Sword until I present something relevant, which is fair. Caracas is a wastelandable land. I don't know how much that matters. That is Yorion to hand. Could Wasteland Marsh Flats and then Lightning Bolt Stoneforge. And then Meteor Sword doesn't kill one of my lands. Well, I guess it kills Wasteland. I think I accept Meteor Sword killing Wasteland. Just get Stoneforge out of there so Yorion Blink is not a thing. Basic Plains comes to play. That is another land. Perhaps I could have mulliganed this hand. I don't remember exactly what it was. I was definitely looking for a DRC or a Corey Steelcutter. Oh, hell yeah. Get Volk, I get to Force of Will this. That's big game. I think I had enough good draws that this was a keep. But it is like Yorion Caracas nonsense is coming. White Orchid Phantom is here as well. This can start going after my lands. Womp, 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 womp. I think opponent could be aggressive here with this. Alright, I think I'm gonna tap out here. That did not work out for me. GG's. Final round here. I have a land-heavy hand. I'm going to hope that between, like, Surveil triggers and bobbles and whatnot, that this ends up being fine. That's a redraw that gets me a Surveil. I'd rather just get to a Brainstorm sooner. What are you doing? Mirror. Flow state everywhere. Thundering Falls, baby. Now every single one of these fetch lands is worse because it no longer represents Thundering Falls. Alright. Resolves. Alright, there is Flow State. That's the good news. Days can go to Graveyard. I'm going to offer up a trade here and see how my opponent feels about that. They are going to take the 1. I will be passing the turn. Delver resolves. Minus the 1 D&T deck. Was this... Did I face 4 Flow State opponents today? Lightning Bolt. Interested. Lightning Bolt. Target. DRC. Trigger. I'd like to hit a sorcery here. I am happy to draw that Brainstorm next turn. That is fine. Actually... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could just Murktide right now. Like, offer trade for Delver. See how opponent feels about it. We say no for the second time. Fire off Murktide. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we try to ride Flow State to something else. Leave an artifact in graveyard. I would not like this to get dazed. I don't care if it gets forced. Alright, fantastic. So the Force of Will that goes after that isn't going after Flow State. Opponent's got their Delver trigger. We now need to be cognizant. We don't need to be cognizant of Daze. Yeah, with 3 lands in play already. Daze is a lot less attractive. Opponent probably is the aggressor now. Down to 15. 3rd land drop on their end. Okay. This is a Flow State that is not full powered. And that's okay. Sometimes you have to use the first one to, like, set up the other ones. The graveyard's now a decent size if we're starting to talk about things like Murktide Regent. Fine with that? I think I'm fine with that. Take out your Volk. Oh, opponent is F6'd. Okay. I'll do this. Quarry Steel Cutter? I am fine taking that. I will take the Quarry Steel Cutter. The others go on the bottom. This is now a 3/3. Now if I draw anything that is castable, Quarry Steel Cutter is live. And if I don't, I play Quarry Steel Cutter, then drop a land and equip it to DRC. And continue to beat down in that capacity. I'm at 12. My opponent is presumably playing another threat here. Yeah. So they didn't have counterspells on my turn, so threats make sense. Or just a buttload of land. Fortunately, that's where I'm at too. So I will Quarry Steel Cutter, Surveil. I'm going to say that as a removal spell is fine. Opponent Brainstorms. Quarry Steel Cutter resolves. So I equip it so that I attack in for 4 without dying to their DRC. If my opponent is sitting on a couple of lightning bolts, I might die this turn. Like, double bolt does just kill me immediately. But if I'm not dead, I can maybe limp over the finish line with lightning bolt. Like, DRC is a 2-turn clock if nothing happens to it, and it can't be lightning bolted anymore. My issue is that if my opponent plays something larger like a Murktide Regent, the lightning bolt that I know that I don't have a chance to shuffle that away. Land drop comes down. Opponent has 2 cards. I would say my opponent is currently favored to win this. Oh, my opponent's actually thinking about not attacking with both. Alright, I'm at 9. Fuck, it is the Murktide. Yeah, opponent has Chain Lightning. I like that slot a lot. Although, admittedly, a Boomerang Basics taking this out of play right now would be big game. This is now a 1/1. That's worth something. In for 4. Alright, while this is still here, I will bolt so that I get to Surveil, and I'd like to find Flow State. Quarry Steel Cutter is not going to do it. Oh, do you have a counter? You have a Mystic Sanctuary for Chain Lightning? Yeah. That makes this an 8/8. I am dead to that. GG. Good to know that my opponent has Mystic Sanctuary. That means that they have effectively more flow states than I do. So I am into these very efficient 1-for-1 things. And then I just don't have the current sideboarding heuristics for this deck. I think I'm going to get rid of my Boomerang Basics with these coming in. Like, do you not Force of Will? Do you daze when you are on the play? I don't have the best feel for that sort of stuff right now. It is a brand new format as well. Again, losing these Boomerang Basics means that, like, I am absolutely tilted towards instants. I think too heavily. That feels like a deck building problem that can easily be fixed by changing about 2 cards. That'll be smoothed out in a couple of days. I think I'm going to leverage my dazes when I'm on the play. Alright, this is fine. I need a little more mana here. So like previously, if I get wastelanded on turn 1, it is disastrous, but I do have to get Valk because I need Brainstorm and DRC to be live off of this land. Opponent's Valk comes down, Bobble is fine. Yeah, just bolt. I think I'm going to do this mostly to surveil flow state. I think I just send the first flow state to the graveyard. I am light on sorceries, and that is something that I am learning very, very quickly in this league. Take a redraw. Daze, sure. I will brainstorm immediately. We'll take the next land. That's going to let me Quarry Steelcutter next turn, which is great. I think I will put back 1 land, and then I'm very unsure on the second card. Maybe Daze. So if I put an artifact into graveyard right now, this is a 3/3. I think I'm not going to do that. And I think I'm just going to surveil. Ponder can go to graveyard. I want a Quarry Steelcutter plus Lightning Bolt next turn. And then hopefully 2 triggers there is enough to make this into a 3/3. Flooded to Strand. Opponent resolves their Quarry Steelcutter, but does not trigger it. I will now attempt my Quarry Steelcutter. I think I'll say yes to Ponder. Trigger with Bobble. Keep that Ponder there. Sack this, see what my opponent is doing. They are getting a flow state, which is not online yet. I have a hyper aggressive hand. Redraw Ponder. My opponent is going to make a monk this turn, let's be real. Well, maybe I shouldn't be boarding Dazes out at all. Like, just Lightning Bolt here, no, Daze is so strong. Like, I've got them all right now, but maybe even on the draw, I should be keeping them. Petty Theft, sure. I'm not sure if that's better than just, like, Petty Thefting DRC out of play. My opponent holds back their monk. Understood. Here is a Ponder. I'm going to keep that as an option. Yes. Bam, bam, bam. No. Hydroblast. Quarry Steelcutter. Triggers. Yes. Keep that. Alright, nice. This means that my monk gets to attack in. Opponent to 7. Like, the Daze is a little worse this turn. Like, my opponent can do some things like Hydroblast or whatever very easily around Daze, but they might not be able to do something like Cantrip into Murktide Regent or whatever. Maybe I catch something like that with a Daze. Wasteland's quite good here. Chain Lightning occurs. Do I Daze the Delver so that I can play Murktide Regent? That seems fine to me. We'll see how my opponent responds to this. Because it's clearly a weird play, which means that I'm up to some shit. Yeah, alright, I successfully countered that. This is fine. So I know that I am drawing Murktide Regent. Oh, I'm wrong. Pyroblast, then Murktide? Okay. Punchies. In for 2. No block. Bolt face, prowess trigger. Just trying to limp over the finish line here. So Force of Will is now off. This does have trample, which is relevant. Lightning Bolt resolving kills my opponent. That is horrifying. And it is flow state time. Shit. There's a very good chance that my opponent stabilizes. Bobble as well. Sure. Lightning Bolt my token. Yeah. Board's clear. Opponent has a Brazen Borrower coming in exile. Another card from Bobble here. There's that Murktide Regent that I thought I had earlier. I guess my Daze traded with a Delver successfully. Not sure if Giga Brain play or a terrible punt. All I need to do is hit a red mana and be able to preferably play it around Daze, but I might not have the opportunity to do that. It has to be Daze because Force of Will is not live at 1 life. I guess it could be a Blast as well. No attack, opponent being incredibly conservative against the onboard Quarry Steelcutter. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my land and pass the turn. And I think I will probably just Lightning Bolt my opponent in their upkeep. Put them to the test. Show me you have it. Brainstorm. I've seen no dazes this game. That does get the win. Oof. We beat the flow state there. GG. I don't really know how I'm supposed to be sideboarding. I know that I've said this a lot, but everything seems important. Every single card seems relevant. I could go down on dazes when I am on the draw and have access to Force of Will. Daze isn't good with my Corey Steelcutter, but Daze stopping opponent from tapping out for Murktide or Corey Steelcutter is reasonable. I don't know here. I don't know the answer. I feel like I get Wastelanded and die. I'm gonna just mulligan this one. This is reasonable. I will put Thundering Falls back into the deck. Volcanic Island comes down, and there is a Ponder. And then my opponent passes the turn. Ooh, DRC is a nice pickup. Let's go ahead and do that. Just instantly resolves. Seems like opponent does not have counter magic. That is resolving. There is Lightning Bolt. My opponent gets to Surveil. Keeps a card. I am fine dazing and keeping my DRC alive. I don't need that land. Opponent dazes back. Alright, sounds good. And has Bobble. 2 card types. Instant and sorcery are already there for flow state purposes, whereas I do not have a sorcery yet, although I'll get one in a second. I will go ahead and ponder. These are okay cards. I already have a Murktide. I would like more instants and sorceries for it. I can't play Corey Steelcutter and trigger it immediately. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's fine. I will throw a Force of Will in my hand. That way, if my opponent has a Corey Steelcutter, I can answer that. That would be something that would be very bad for me right now. Hey, a Corey Steelcutter, that would be very, very bad for me. Force of Will, pitch Brainstorm, nice. I'm still eating 3 damage here, but it seems like my Murktide Regent should resolve if I play one. Or I can just stick Corey Steelcutter and then try to Murktide plus some other spell in a second. I think I'll Murktide while I know it resolves. Get Volk. So how big do I want to make it? Like, do we want to maximize flow state or maximize Murktide? I think I will maximize Murktide. Next land drop comes down. Seems like opponent has their own Murktide Regent, so their DRC doesn't have to attack into my Murktide like I wanted it to. Their Murktide is also a 6/6. Alright, well, I will cast the first one of those, and then hope to do the second one plus a spell and trigger both. I'm unsure if I am the beatdown. I think I am going to hold back. I think double Corey Steelcutter means I am advantaged if things run long, and I will trade Murktide for Murktide given the opportunity. So there is a flow state. It does not have instants and sorceries in the graveyard right now. Luckily for me, I suppose. I guess this opponent had Mystic Sanctuary, right? So their Murktide is potentially a 7/7. Fuck, for that reason I should have attacked. I think that was a very, very big mistake. Alright, I don't know, maybe yeah, I think I messed up. I think that was very bad, in fact. Okay, so opponent is fetching. Yeah, my opponent could be at 12 right now. I didn't think about Mystic Sanctuary fast enough. Hydroblast, Corey Steelcutter as well. Sure. Murktide becomes a 7/7. I take that hit. I will fetch and Surveil with Thundering Falls. I just need something that... Oh yeah, nice. My opponent's got 1 card. I'm going to try to maximize value here. Here's Corey Steelcutter. Here's Pyroblast on Murktide Regent. Say yes there. I'm sending in for 6. My opponent could be facing down lethal. I just missed 6 points of damage. Now my opponent gets to cast a Flow State, but it does not have both card types in the graveyard right now. The opponent is on a Steam Vents. I'm dead to a Lightning Bolt if my opponent finds one. Pyroblast probably kills me. I think trying to be conservative with this Murktide Regent and like potentially block DRC just cost me this match. But that's okay if that happens, right? Live and learn. As of 2 days ago, Mystic Sanctuary make Murktide Regent bigger was not a major part of the format that you needed to be thinking about. Alright, it is the Lightning Bolt, unfortunately. So I will take 3 here and die. So my opponent gets that one. I think that was just a punt on my end. So this is a 2-3 finish on the surface that could have been much better with some slightly tighter play. GG. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Overall thoughts on the deck list, and let's rearrange this actually, so that Bobble is in a separate column again. I think this deck list is skewed a little bit too much towards instants, in the configurations where you board out Boomerang basics. I think there just needs to be a couple more sorceries in here to make flow state a little more consistent. I don't love Boomerang basics. Like, it was a bounce spell for something like a Murktide Regent and a tempo element card, but we don't have good things to bounce ourselves. I would rather have like a Chain Lightning and a Preordain or something like that. Just more castable cards. But this overall shell, I think, is pretty messed up. I think the fact that everyone is testing flow state right now is very, very indicative of not a new set, but of a we've seen this before and we know that this is busted, and we are currently at the race to figure out like what is the best looking flow state shell. Once we figure that out, how are you having the leg up in the mirror? And we are already seeing people putting the Mystic Sanctuaries to get it back, which was something we saw later on in the EI metagame. Expressive Iteration, a similar but banned card. Stormchaser's Talent, rebuying it consistently is very much a thing as well. There's definitely some tension between Flow State and Murktide Regent that I need some more reps to figure out. Overall, I would expect to see a lot of this deck. I think the game versus Brian was perhaps most indicative of what Flow State is capable of doing. You know, beating the 5 or 6 up the Beanstalk draws as a Delver deck is pretty messed up. And when we see flow state decks match up against non-flow state decks, I think the flow state decks are going to be quite favored, with the exception of things like the slow Yorion D&T, which often eats these style of decks alive. And that'll potentially still be true through flow state, but we'll see. Matchup felt tough still on my end. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya.